Good day, this is Max from Practical. In this video, I want to show you how you can find information on the free space of the work-related cost scheme in numbers for your company. If you're not familiar with the work-related cost scheme, that's also called Werkkostenregeling in Dutch, by the way. If you're not familiar with that, I would refer you to our blog on our website, practical.nl. There we explain a lot of the details, and we also explain the services we provide for our customers within the WKR. So please go to that one to read what it's all about. And it's important because the WKR just provides a very valuable benefit, fiscal benefit for companies of all sizes with a lot of personnel, with only a director employed or anything in between. So if you log into Numbers, where can you find this information? Go to the white sheet called Salary Documents, click on More, click on the most recent salary run, and then click here on Work-Related Cost Scheme. Then a nice table will open up that will show you how much free space you have built over this year for your company. So here, for example, on the left, you see that 11 of the 12 months have been done. And here in this column, which is vrije ruimte, that's Dutch for the free space, shows you how much free space you have built up. The free space you build up, that's based on the amount of taxable wages you pay. So the more personnel you have employed, the higher your free space will be, right? So they here have done 11 of the 12 months, but if you assume that the taxable wages are the same in December, then you can just add the same amount to the end amount, and then you know how much free space you have built up over the entire year, right? So it's good to think smartly about that one. So now you know this. What can you do with it? Well, the free space, you can use that to do tax-free nice things for your employees, right? So you can use that, for example, for gifts or for a nice dinner out with the employees. Or you can also use it for tax-free bonuses on their pay slips. That's also another way to use it. So, for example, if you're a company with quite a bit of personnel employed, then you know how much free space you have built up. And maybe you know, well, we don't have a lot of other costs for personnel, so now I kind of know what we have left, and I'll just use part of it to go to a dinner together, or pay tax-free bonuses on the pay slips, right? Whatever you want in that case. So that would be one way to use it. Of course, you do have to account for the possibility that maybe you have already made costs for personnel that would be assigned to the free space, right? And that's probably in your bookkeeping administration somewhere, right? So this table here just shows you how much you've built up, but that doesn't mean that's what you have left per se, because if you have made other costs, that's assigned to the free space already. So if you presume that's the case, and if you want to know more about that, then you can ask us to deliver a WKR report to you. Then we go through your whole administration and tell you exactly how much free space you have left. This is an additional service of ours that's charged with an additional fee. So you can do that if you want. If you're a company with only a director employed, then the question becomes a little bit easier, right? Do you make private, have you included private costs as company costs? If the answer is yes, then you already have costs assigned to the free space. But maybe you don't know how much, right? So maybe you'll want to ask about the WKR report again for that additional fee. But maybe you'll say, oh no, I've not included private costs as company costs. And then you could make the assumption that this free space here is exactly what you have left to spend. That's an assumption you could make. Whether that assumption is correct or not, that responsibility lies with you, right? Because the WKR is complex and it might contain some rules that you would not have expect, right? So I do advise, if you have any doubts, do ask a question. It could be a little question from, well, I did make these costs, do those have to be assigned to the free space, right? It can be a little question like that. Or if you don't know at all, then you could ask for an extensive WKR report like I talked about. So it's very important to be aware of that, and the responsibility with any choice you make lies with you. So that's important to keep in mind. Another thing I'd like to mention that we already make for all our clients a definitive WKR report at the beginning of the next year. So that report is just for trying to conclude whether or not the free space has been exceeded. Because if the free space has been exceeded, then you have to pay tax, right? So that report is very important for legal reasons. But that report that comes at the beginning of next year, then it's already too late to use that free space of this year, right? So if you want to use the free space, better do it before the end of the year. So, you can keep this in mind. You can ask for a report, you can do whenever, but keep that in mind. That's important. But you will anyways get a report at the beginning of next year just to make sure, or just to conclude whether you have exceeded the free space or not. So that's important to keep in mind. So this was just me telling you about how you can find information in numbers about your free space of the WKR. It's a little bit complex, so if you have any questions, be free to email us or call us or even plan a meeting. It's all fine. Do make sure to read our blog. That's also in English because that will have a lot of the answers to questions you will have. So be sure to check that out, please. And yeah, so just let us know what you want.